Alright guys, today is February the 21st, 2021. Just going to do a quick overview of our JTE shop car. Done a write-up on it, but for my YouTube, I really haven't done any updates since I did a tune when the car was stock, and then we did the tune when we first did the motor. I don't know, half a year ago or so. Anyway, so this is the car. This is what it looks like now. This is a 2019 yxz1000r Sport Shift. This is kind of what we specialize in, is this particular Sport Shift clutch. So our system is what allows you to, I guess, hold real big power with the Sport Shift, and you're not having to modify anything that dealing with the Sport Shift side of things. So no actuator modifications, no MCU reprogramming, and actually no clutch modifications itself either. Our kit actually works around the factory clutch and maintains the factory diaphragm spring, so that the stock actuator doesn't have to do any additional work. And the way that system works is we use some pressure that is created by the turbo system. So we're using a little bit of boost pressure to drive a pneumatic lockout, which is kind of hard to see, but it replaces the clutch cover and comes with a handful of parts that you swap out to go with that. And that's what gives you the ability to essentially lock the clutch under load without modifying anything as far as the Sport Shift is concerned. Now this car dynoed at just a hair over 435 wheel horsepower on a hot day in August with some ignition problems, but we've fixed all that and thrown a little more boost at it. So I would guess 450 wheel or so right now. Especially in the cooler weather, but you know, we haven't had another dyno session. So talk a little bit about what we've done to this particular car. Obviously it's painted. This is paint, not a wrap. This color is called Rattlesnake by PPG. It's kind of a chameleon color, so you can see as I walk around it's kind of green or gold or red or brown, you know, kind of changes when you look at it in different lighting. The next thing you will notice is the Aftermarket Cage. This is made by Crash Off-Road, and the powder coat color you're seeing is called Illusion Dorado from Prismatic Powder. Very nice cage. Happy with the customer service over there. It was real nice to work with. I mean, it took a long time to get it, but worth it. You know, this is safety, especially in a high horsepower car. Safety is at utmost importance. And traveling down, we're running a NXS long travel kit from Matt Ling. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a +3 on each side width, so a total width increase of 6 inches. And then it's +3 forward and back, so it gives you a total wheelbase increase of 6 inches. And the shocks were done by Weller Racing in Chandler, Arizona. They were converted to dual rate springs, and they revalved for the long travel kit. Now, this is still a work in progress. I'm probably going to end up putting some sway bars on it. Those are still stock. But that's pretty much it for suspension and chassis. Now if we get on to the modifications that we did, which is the engine and drivetrain, I guess I should point out also that this has a Packard billet rear differential, and I'm running Turner Eagle 2 big bell axles in the rear, and I'm running Turner Eagle 1 extended axles in the front. Now I never use four-wheel drive. I did use four-wheel drive the other day when we were out in the dunes and I broke a rear axle. to get back, but other than that, it's got too much power for a four-wheel drive. For tires, this is a Sand Sport Unlimited, Sand Tire Unlimited STU 13.0 Plus, which is an inch wider than their standard 13.0 tire. And this is a number 2 paddle, and these have been comp cut, which means they come in here and they cut this material out in between the paddles. It lightens them up and actually gives you a little more paddle height. Now this is an aggressive tire, but it's not a crazy aggressive tire. This is a tire that I use primarily for duning. I mean, this is not a race car. This is just a go fast and have fun car. So this is a pretty good combo. Been real happy with these tires. I've turned a few of my customers onto them. If you got, I'd say anything more than 300 horsepower, and you're looking for a tire with a lot of bite, and you've done your drivetrain modifications to handle the extra load, then I mean, I recommend this tire all day long. It's fantastic. Dune's great. It hooks up and goes fast when you need it to, so good compromise. And then running the Sand Tire Unlimited big smoothies in the front. And I guess I should also note these are 15-inch wheels, so these tires are sandrail tires. These are not UTV specific, so this is something you would see like on a whatever sand car. The rear is about a 31-inch in height and the front's about a 30. Now these are mounted to Packard wishbone 2-piece billet wheels. Really like these a lot too. Everything Packard makes is great. I got quite a few of their products. Top-notch quality. I mean, very nice machine work. Fit and finish is good. And I haven't had any issues with any of this high performance stuff that's I'm definitely using to its limit every time we take the car out. Like this rear differential, this thing's been real solid for me, so no issues. And it looks good in there too. So as far as the engine, this is the 2019 engine that came in the car, or at least the block and head casting. Sent the cylinder head to Packard for their CNC port job, and then I purchased their Stage 3 engine kit, which has got their own proprietary spec pistons and proprietary spec Carrillo rods, along with valves, and it's running a kibble and white shim in bucket valve spring setup, so dual valve springs. The shim is moved inside the bucket, which I like because you can still get in there with shims and set your valve lash. There's multiple ways to address the shim dropping issue that these motors have, but I've had really good luck with this, and we've taken this car through huge whoops at speed where you're bouncing the rev limiter and just beating the hell out of it, and I've never had any valve train problems, so I'm fairly confident that those parts are really solid. Now the turbo kit we built in-house. This is obviously a tubular manifold. This is a Garrett G25 660 with a 96 AR exhaust housing. And then I'm running a Turbo Smart Comp 45 wastegate, external gate. So like I said, we built all this stuff. 3-inch exhaust to a 3-inch muffler. Not the quietest, but it's manageable. And then we fabricated an intercooler up here, water to air, built into the airbox. So that's been working really good for us. Fuel system is a Walbro 450 pump in the tank in a custom sending unit we machined. And then I'm running -6 PTFE line for the ethanol that it runs on. I have this big radium external fuel filter, which I like because it's got the heat sink built in. real big fuel pump like that with such a small volume tank, has a tendency to get the fuel hot. So this is kind of an easy way to manage that. That's been working good. It's got a, let's see, Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, 1-to-1 regulator for boost. And we're running Injector Dynamics 1700cc injectors at about 65 psi base pressure. At 435, I think we were around, I want to say 75 to 80% duty cycle, so it has a little left in it. So originally when we tuned it, I had stock coils, and that was a limitation when we started getting up into the boost. And we had just gapped the plugs way down to like 14 thousandths to get it to make some pulls. Since upgraded to Randy Pearsall's IGN1A bracket, which is a bolt-on. It's really hard to see, but bolts to the valve cover, mounts these IGN1A coils. These ones came from AEM. So the coil is mounted on top, and then it uses basically like a little import car spark plug wire to get back into the hole for the plug. But that's been working really good. Let's see, Turbo Smart. I don't remember what series blow off valve this is, but it's recirculated back to the intake. And let's see, that's really about it. We're running the wideband sensor there, and this copper line you're seeing is our exhaust back pressure sensor. This guy over here is our coolant pressure sensor. It also has a fuel pressure and oil pressure sensor, and this is all going back to the Motec engine management that's in this car. Inside we have still the factory seats. I've been trying to get seats, I just haven't decided on what I want yet. Running a Forworks carbon center console. Eventually this will have a Motec dash and PNID panel. Just it's in the works. Forworks carbon, really nice parts. I mean, real carbon, looks really good. So, and it looks good against the paint color. Let's see, this car's not super clean because we just went to the dunes last weekend, but under here, if I can get this off with one hand, yeah, a little dusty. There's my John Reed Racing Motec. I have a video about installing this. This has been rock solid, zero issues with this. I mean, phenomenal. I did end up sending the whole system back, ECU and harness, to have the leads added for the big coils when we did that upgrade, but he rewired it and set it all up in the ECU and sent it back, and we just stuck it back in the car and plugged in the wires and fired it up, and away we went. No issues. I mean, fantastic customer service, so highly recommended. That's about it. Let's see, a Baja design light bar, which works pretty good. It's really bright. It's too dusty, even with the amber lenses when I was out there last weekend to see with it, but non-super dusty conditions works really good. Oh, and then lastly, I get people asking me about the radiator in the front. This is our heat exchanger for our water to air intercooler system. Just a big, I think this is 1.25 inches by 11 by 24. So pretty decent size, enough to cool your engine. We're just using it to keep the water cool for the intercooler. And I want to get it anodized black. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. That'll be the next time the car is down, but right now we're in the middle of the dune season, so we're just driving this thing and having a lot of fun. This runs on, well, it'll run on pump gas, but to make the power, we're using Torco E85. It does have a flex fuel sensor, so you can put any combination of gasoline or ethanol or straight ethanol or straight gasoline, it'll run on it. It's just the more ethanol you put in, the more power it makes. And still stock This is another to-do project, is this radiator shroud and plastic. I'm actually going to get rid of the bed more than likely. I have an oil cooler from Mike Heinen Moto Concepts to install. So I'll get in here and make some sheet metal, clean this up real good, and get rid of this last piece of gray plastic here. But again, like I said, we're in the middle of the season, so we're just enjoying the car as is. But this thing's been an absolute blast. You know, I love the Sport Shift, I love the paddle shift. Dune's great, it works amazing with power. You know, now that there's a real viable solution for these cars, I mean, I think if you guys have a Sport Shift and you're thinking you might need to get a manual car because you want to bump up the power, I mean, we've kind of proven that you don't have to do that. So, and I enjoy meeting you guys when I come out to the dunes. So if you're watching this video and we've met, you know, leave me a comment or something, and you know, just look forward to seeing you. And if you see this car out in Glamis or Dumont or one of those places, you know, on a weekend, flag me down, and you know, I'll take you for